Hi, I'm Nicholas, and it and I'm answering for Dina D'Amico.
I'm so happy to be here today, Nicholas. Thank you for having me.
May you give us a brief overview about what the book is about?
Sure. So the book is broken down into the 5 exemplary practices of leadership. Those being number 1 was model the way. Number 2 is inspire to share vision. Number 3 was challenge the process. Number 4 was enable others to act. And the last one was encourage the heart. And that was my favorite part of the book. What I really liked was in the beginning of the book, they talked about how they researched thousands of companies with leaders. And what people really want in their leaders is they want them to be honest. They want them to be forward-looking, inspiring, and competent. But what was really neat was the most important significant factor that they found that leaders needed to have was credibility. And they had this little acronym that was DWYSYWD, and that was just do what you say you will do. And I love that. I don't think that that's just important in being a leader. I think that's super important in just being a good person. So the fact that the book opened up talking about that, I appreciated it and I was excited to read more.
Well, let's break down a little bit. First, how do you model the way?
Oh, great question. So to model the way, they talked about committing to 2 things. They talked about clarifying your values by finding your voice and affirming your shared ideals. They also said set the example by aligning your actions with shared values. Now, how do you clarify your values? You simply have to take a deep look into what's important. What do you believe in? And figure out how you're going to share that with people. But the thing is, you have to share it with your own voice. On page 61, they had a phenomenal quote here. And it says, shared values are the internal compass that enable people to act both independently and interdependently. So I thought that was really neat because when you're thinking about being a leader of an organization, if you can somehow figure out what's important to everyone, that's how you're going to get them to be the most productive they can be within that organization. So I thought that was super neat. And then to set the example, you want to personify the shared values and teach others how to model the values. So you have to do it yourself. You have to ask questions, you have to tell personal stories, and then you just simply have to reinforce the behaviors that you want modeled.
Well, what do they mean about spy and shared vision?
Oh, inspired a shared mission. They mean imagine the possibilities and find a common purpose. So people commit to causes, not plans. And they said that the most successful strategies are visions. So what I loved, this is a part that made it really clear for me, was they used the example of like driving down the road. So you're driving down this beautiful scenic road, you know, you're feeling good, the sun is shining, you can see the road ahead of you. And then all of a sudden a dense fog rolls in. Like, what do? You feel nervous, you slow down, your body tenses up, you don't feel confident. And that's just like not having a clear vision for your organization. So it's that fog. It's that, you know, people don't know what is expected of them, what they're supposed to be doing. So I loved that because you give people a clear vision, they're going to work better. Visions, they're ideals, okay? So they're hopes, dreams, and aspirations. They're about a strong desire to achieve something great. And so as a leader, you need to provide that to people. You need to point out that what they're doing can make a difference on their families, on their colleagues, on the future. And that way, if they think that they're doing something significant and it matters, they're going to want to do it more.
And how do you challenge the process?
Another great question. In challenging the process, what you want to do as the leader is you want to search for opportunities and you want to experiment and you want to take risks. Okay, so by taking risks, you have to think outside the box. You have to generate small wins. So when people are doing things that they're not necessarily comfortable with or experimenting with things, they have to celebrate the little tiny successes. When there's something that people are doing that's new and different, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. And in that, you have to take learning experiences out of them, and that's what makes the mistakes okay for them, because a lot of people don't feel comfortable with failure. But if you're going to lead a strong organization, you have to make that okay for the people. And I think in making those mistakes a learning experience, that is where they will find worth, and it will make it feel better for them. Leaders also have to be active learners. So in challenging the process, you have to view change as a challenge, and you have to be okay with change. And all that's going to do is it's going to strengthen the resilience in you, and it's going to strengthen the resilience in the members of the organization.
Well, how do you enable others to act?
Oh, well, how do you enable others to act? The way that the authors broke it down was by two things. You really need to foster collaboration, and you have to strengthen others. So by fostering collaboration, you want to create a climate of trust and facilitate relationships. You need to trust in others before asking them to trust in you. Okay, so people aren't going to trust in you unless they know that you trust in them. And the most significant, so this is a really cool part of the book, the most significant predictor of individual satisfaction within an organization is trust. So I thought that was really interesting. So you have to be open to others' views. You have to listen to them. You have to share some personal experiences. And that's what's going to foster that trust. You also have to help others succeed, acknowledge that success, and help them shine in front of others. You do that, they're never going to forget you, and they are going to build trust within you. Face-to-face interactions will help with that, because again, you want to foster collaboration, so you want to get people working together face-to-face, and you also really want them to form common goals. That is also going to be something that will strengthen them and will help them learn how to work together better.
The last thing you encourage was the encouraging the heart. Now talk to me about that.
Okay, so in Encourage the Heart, you have to expect the best of yourself and everyone else in the organization. High expectations lead to high performance. So as long as you're giving feedback and giving people in the organization goals that will keep them engaged, they will be working harder towards them. Personal recognition is huge. You have to get close to the people in your organization, and you have to praise them personally. So it's not just like a generic, hey, great job. It's this is why you're important, this is why you matter, and you did such a good job in this. And if you can do that publicly, that's even better. So you want to provide social support. You want to have fun together. You want to get to know the people. So it's really about being a person within the organization instead of just being an organization.
Do you recommend this book to people in other positions?
You know what? I recommend this book not only to people in just leadership positions, but to everyone. I think that the topics that this book discussed make me a better mommy. I think they make me a better wife. I think they make me a better teacher. I mean, when you're talking about things like enabling other people to act and encouraging the heart and inspire shared visions, I mean, those are things that make you successful in just a world where we're interacting with people all the time, right? And I think personal relationships is one of the most important things you can have. And so this book did such a phenomenal job of breaking down, yes, how to lead, but I think more importantly, how to be a good person. And I loved it because actually at the end, they wrapped it up with a chapter that said leadership is everyone's business. And it truly is. Like, you don't have to have the title of leader in order to be a leader. And so that's what I loved, because you're going to be a leader, right? And then the other thing that I kept going back to thinking about my personal project that I'm working on in trying to introduce a health curriculum into my high school. And all of these things are important. I have to get people to believe in my vision. I have to encourage their hearts and want this change. And I think the only way to do that is to give them the reasons why we need it, and to make them realize that this will benefit our students for the rest of their lives if we can make this change. So thank you so much for interviewing me today, Nicholas. I had a great time talking with you. Maybe we can do it again with my next book. All right.
Maybe
Maybe not. Have a great day.